being back, and if you just joined us, this is still Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television, penultimate day to Christmas.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is 25th, so it's going to be a very wonderful day.
Jolly.
We forgot our Christmas hat, actually.
Can you imagine?
Yes, in fact, we were hoping that it would be tomorrow, but we would have started the celebration today.
Me, I started my own since yesterday.
Oh, since yesterday.
Yes, so.
But without the hat, obviously.
No, it's obvious. They will watch it and they will know that we are in the season.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, so let's move straight to our main conversation, where we have it that the Katsina State Governor Dikko Radda had called on Nigerians to stop placing sole blame on state governors for the country's worsening economic hardship, noting that the federal government controls the largest share of national revenue. Radda, who chairs the Northwest Governors Forum, made the remark during an interview on Radio France Internationale, RFI, Hausa program.
Yes, very true. So according to the governor, public frustration is often directed at governors and local government chairmen, even though the federal government receives 52% of funds from the federation account. He explained that the remaining 48% is shared among the 36 state and 774 local governments, leaving subnational government with limited resources to meet growing demands.
All right, so let's get talking. We still have Emeka Madunagu. Emeka, let's speak to this issue. Radda had once said that he asked for 40 doctors to come work for him in the federal hospital, state hospital, I guess. That only 11 showed up, and he was blaming Nigerian doctors for not being patriotic to Nigeria. And lots of people were asking him, how patriotic is he, Governor Radda, to Nigeria? Why won't he train his own child to be a doctor in his own hospital? The same governor is saying that we should not blame governors, we should blame President Bola Tinubu, who already is having so much on his head. Emeka, do you think we should blame Bola Tinubu and not our respective governors at this point?
Okay, let me take it this way, one after the other. One, we are in a federation, and we should be practicing federalism, fiscal federalism, and federalism at different levels. But sadly, we have this centralized system, and which makes the federal government to have this overbearing influence. Yes, it's right. The federal government takes 52.6% of her monthly revenue. The federal government also takes 1%, for the FCT, and then the other things the federal government controls. So, this inequity is unacceptable. The federal government should actually tell us what it's doing with its 52.6% because the states take 20%. So when you now, that's more than what all the states, 36 states, and the FCT are taking. What is the federal government doing with it? It doesn't need it. It doesn't need it. Recently, the National Assembly passed a central gaming bill, for the federal government to regulate lottery and all those things. But, clearly, President Tinubu said he would declare an assent. He would not sign it because the Supreme Court had already issued, a landmark verdict some years ago on that same matter, the National Lottery Act. It invalidated it. So, and that it states, he said it's states that should regulate lottery. There's so much money in lottery, So now,
was he not doing that statement? Was he not saying that because of what Lagos State tends to gain? Because I would love to believe if Lagos wasn't having a long share of that business, he wouldn't have said that.
Let me tell you something. If the governors are responsible, I know we have been clamoring for years for for a review of the Revenue Allocation Act. But the point is this, like he said, to whom much is given, much is expected. What are you doing with the one you have got? The allocations you are getting. President Tinubu remove subsidy and then increase allocations to states and local governments. Yet the governors are not satisfied. What have you done with it? Yeah. Some local governments receive over 500 million every month. What have you done with it? Primary healthcare centers are supposed to be under the local governments. But the states, we dive into all these things. Primary schools are supposed to be under the local governments. But the states will tell you that in the constitution, that there is this section, I think 162, I think subsection 456, will tell you about the state local government joint account. So they will now use that to perpetrate illegality, seize local government funds, and then use those funds for other purposes. So local government funds have now become like an ATM for governors. This is criminality, and that's why President Tinubu had to threaten that he will issue an executive order to force governors to obey the Supreme Court judgment granting financial autonomy to the local governments. But he has forgotten that President Buhari issued an executive order 10. What came out of it? Nothing. Nothing came out of it. So one thing he should realize, we ought to do, let's tell ourselves the truth. We've been clamoring for restructuring, but the North has been opposing restructuring. The time has come now for the North to tell itself the truth. Nigeria is not working the way it is presently constituted. There must be restructuring. States should get more allocation. States should get more responsibilities. Because let me tell you, poverty rises and falls on the quality of leadership. If you want to tackle poverty, you must start at the local government, and then the states. Because there's so much that Abuja can do, and it can't really achieve so much. It's not right for Abuja to determine where a primary school in your local government should be sited, in what town. It is very wrong. It is very wrong. Health centers and all those things. President Tinubu giving grants to states for healthcare center, primary healthcare centers. All those things are an aberration. States should be given, there should be devolution of powers. But before we get there, while we are still working on it, we need state police as well. Look at what it took, how much effort it took for states to agree to a state police. Look at the battle now. Allow local governments get their allocation directly. You don't agree. But we see that in Lagos, you reference, local governments are doing roads, they are building roads, they are building drainages. Local governments are doing projects. In his own state, Dikko Radda should tell us if he has granted financial autonomy to his state. I think he has. I think, if I remember well, I'm not very sure. But apart from that, what have you, I think Dikko Radda has also tried in terms of security, set up a vigilante and all of that, trying to secure Zamfara State, but he now said that some political actors at the federal level had been thwarting their efforts. Be that as it may, what we're saying is this: what the governors are getting, what are they doing with it? I know tarring roads, asphalt is very expensive, but even at that, engage direct labor. You don't have to give contracts, bloated contracts to your friends and cronies. You can engage youths in direct labor. Look at what the federal government is trying to do now through the Federal Ministry of Works. Internship for graduates of engineering that they should register, and they'll be posted to different project sites of the federal government for internship. Can't you do it as state government? Your youths are unemployed. Create different areas where they can go for internship and earn some good money, even if it is a minimum wage. But you're not doing that. You're not doing that. Yes, we'll blame the governors because of the conspicuous consumption they indulge in. Because of the corruption they indulge in. We will blame them because they are taking so many loans. This year alone, we know how much loans governors have taken. A particular state governor took over 1 trillion. Was it last year or year before last? And later he was lamenting that they took too much, that the state should have taken 500 billion instead of 1 trillion. What are you doing with the money? What exactly are you doing with the money? You take the money, you take the loan in dollars, you convert it to naira, and then you steal part of it, and you engage in conspicuous consumption. And then Nigerians think, oh, there's so much money in the system. Oh, and Nigerians will say, oh, there's money in Nigeria. Okay, when they now expect, okay, bring out the money now, you'll be telling stories. Whereas they don't know that it's borrowed money. They're just flaunting about. Look at the federal government. Made a projection of 43 trillion revenue for this year. But according to the Minister of Finance, government was only able to make 10 trillion naira revenue, leaving a shortfall of over 30 trillion. But look at the conspicuous consumption. Was it within the same year that Tinubu bought a presidential jet? Was it the same year they were engaging in all kinds of jamborees, going for COP conference, with one of the largest delegations and all of that, all on borrowed money. Nigeria is living on borrowed money. Let's just tell ourselves the truth. We can continue to deceive ourselves. We are living on borrowed money. So the governor Dikko Radda should tell his colleagues, let's be responsible. Whatever we are getting, no matter how small, let us be responsible. To whom much is given, much is expected. Let us even try. Let the people see that we are making efforts to make their lives better. Then they can now support us when we say we need more money. Because this year alone, the governors have received so much. Now the new tax laws, whenever they come on stream, the governors are going to receive much more money. What are they going to do with the money? You can just see them stealing money up and down. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. That is what, so let them show us what they are doing with what they have received. Let them publish their audited accounts. All the governors, since 2023, let them publish their audited accounts. And then we will now get from there. But according to budget, a transparency watchdog, that looks into budget, it says that, look, only Anambra State has actually performed well in terms of budgeting, in terms of its budget. Meanwhile, there are some states that without borrowing, they cannot pay salaries. They can't pay pensions. So that means some states are insolvent, but they have been receiving allocations. What have they been doing with the allocations? They've been borrowing. What have they been doing? Look at the 2026 budgets of some states. Huge borrowings. How are you going to sustain the borrowings? How are you going to sustain the borrowings? Like the Labour Party's presidential candidate in 2023, Peter Obi, says, you cannot borrow or tax your way to prosperity. You have to change your habits. You have to reduce the cost of governance. You have to cut excess flesh. You see a governor. I saw one governor one time. 53, we counted 53 or 54 vehicles in his convoy. SUVs. Where are you going to? And each of those engines, one full tank. Each of those vehicles, one full tank is about 120 to 150,000. A full tank. Multiply that by 50 vehicles.
Wow.
And you say that you should not blame governments. What nonsense is that?
Okay, let's look at the structural economic reforms, right? So, should Nigeria rethink its fiscal federalism model to ease hardship?
My sister, we're just blowing grammar. We're just blowing big grammar. Very simple.
Okay.
Make the money you are getting work for the people. When you get home, do you tell your children we are going to embark on structural reform? What are you saying? They'll be looking at you, mommy, what are you saying? Daddy, what are you saying? They want food on the table. They want you to pay their school fees. They want you to take care of them. That is what's important. All these grammar, structural reforms and all this, they are just used to confuse people. Go straight to the point. Look, make agriculture viable. Let government be an off-taker. So that you have commodity boards, then farmers can sell their produce to the commodity boards. The commodity boards can now, engage in agro-processing so that you minimize waste. Then they can now, get other off-takers, private sector off-takers, to take these things, process them, and let the farmers be paid a good, let them get some profit from what they're doing. Is it in schools? Invest in education. Invest in security. Provide jobs. Provide a conducive environment for businesses to thrive. Stop this spate of demolition. Just you allow somebody to build a structure, you can't demolish it. It is a backward, wicked, and stupid mentality. You should implement your law, because when foreign investors see all these things, they see all this anyhowness, they don't want to come and invest. That's the truth. They don't want to come and invest in Nigeria. Let there be a conducive environment. It's as simple as ABC. This structure, this thing. You don't need. Look, there is no perfect system in the world because every system will be run by human beings. But the point is this: let there be the objective that, as the Constitution says, that government shall exist for the well-being and safety of the people. Let that be your primary objective. Then with the one you are receiving, cut down the cost of governance, reduce your aides, your special assistants and advisors and all kinds of hangers on. Stop putting money into pilgrimage. Stop putting government money into pilgrimage. Stop it. Take that money, put it into SMEs. Put it into credit. Let SMEs get credit so that they can create jobs. Let schools be properly funded. UNESCO says you should provide I think UNICEF says you should provide funding for education at minimum of 26%. So, are you doing that? Let's go to the chase, not blowing grammar up and down. Mind them.
Thank you so very much, Emeka. Just like Ododo of Kogi State would say that his cabal, he said that his cabal is doing a very great job. That the former cabal he used to be with is not working, but the one that was made together or put together by Yahaya Bello, is working. And that if that cabal is working, that they should create more cabals.
Can you imagine? The thing is that even if the cabal is working, the people of Kogi State, are they seeing the hard work? Are they seeing the work?
Insecurity is all over the place in Kogi State.
Are they seeing the
people
work?
can't even travel across Kogi State to Abuja any longer. And Ododo is there watching, talking about how that his cabal and the cabal of his Oga at the top is working. It's actually quite unfortunate. Thank you so very much, Emeka, for your time. We truly do appreciate you.
Thank you
very much.
All right, beautiful. So that's just about the time we have. We'd love to say thank you for making this a date today, the 24th day in the month of December 2025. Tomorrow would be another great day, 25th of December, the one day in the year that every Nigerian looks up to, and because it's a merry, wonderful one. I saw 2 turkeys in your car. I hope one is mine. Yes.
No,
the red one. You take the black one. I'll take the red one.
No, you take the red one. I'll take the black one.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, since it's still talkie,
yeah,
we'll have to share. Remember, tomorrow is a day for sharing. So nothing is too small. Nothing is too big. Ensure that the people around you, your gate man, your
help in the house, your caregiver,
person that you genuinely know does not have. Ensure you give a little bit to them. It's a time of sharing, and I love to believe that if we can start it as Nigerians, maybe President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will see reasons to want to share what he has. He's a multi-billionaire, for crying out loud.
If there's a word more than that.
Yes, a multi-billionaire in dollars, for crying out loud. So if we can start the sharing from ourselves, then President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will see reasons to want to equally share and not take more, like we often see.
But another thing again is Christmas is not about give. It's not just only about giving food and all of that. Even if you have like used clothes, you have like used shoes or anything material, you can just give out. It's a way of sowing seed to the person and all. So,
all right, so that's a little advice. We hope that you take it and let's make the world a better place. Have yourself a wonderful day. I am Henry Igubike.
And I'm Kehinde Bodin.
Please do well to check up on us. You can visit us, see us at enterprisetvnews.com. Equally download, rewatch, and send to your friends and folks to equally enjoy our show when you visit us at Enterprise TV 7. Have yourself a wonderful day. Bye-bye from us.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Bye.